John, I'm here if you are.
Okay, I'm here too. You ready to go?
I am ready to go.
Great. I am John Ransom, the Great and Powerful. This is Ransom Notes powered by townhallfinance.com and ransomnotes.tv. Pleased, as always, to have David Williams from Williams Edge join us. And, David, there's been a lot of talk about the oil markets, the volatility, while kind of amazing, has also been a great opportunity to make money, and it's something that you forecasted as long ago as last year, that there would be this biblical move in to the downside in the oil markets.
Yeah, thank you very much, John, and thanks for having me on today. We did make a forecast last year for a huge biblical-sized move down in the crude oil market, and it really came at a time where it seemed like world events were really poised more for perhaps upside than downside. But the market did have a 60 full handle drop from at least from the point that we called it to the downside, from $97 in crude down to the recent lows in the 30s. Really remarkable thing overall, and we're looking at the crude oil market all the time because it's a wonderful market. It has great intraday moves often, and the volatility that comes off of a big decline like this will go on for quite some period of time. So we think there's going to be a lot of good volatility continuing. We are looking at the crude oil market right now for the possibility of a nice pop up into tomorrow, but that is dependent. It's not quite ready for prime time yet in terms of trading it, but the indication is that we may have a nice move up into tomorrow/Wednesday, and with that we could have a nice trade. Not a huge trade necessarily, maybe $1,000 to $1,500 per contract, but that is a nice, worthy trade in the crude oil market. So, for our subscribers, John, and for others who are taking trials, we are in the preparatory stages of putting a trade on in crude for that, if the market confirms for us today in the way that we've laid out to our clients and subscribers and so on.
Well, and that's one of the things that we really like about your service is the specificity that you kind of attack all of this with. You're not just saying, market up, market down. You're talking about very specific things that will happen,
Yes.
that can happen, that set up trades. But until those things do happen, you're not really ready to call it one way, although you do give people a heads up.
We do give them the heads up like we're doing in crude oil, and then we follow that up with the very specific trade to the very specific number and when that number should be reached. The market is much more of the movements, the fluctuations in markets are much more scientific than they are random. And we have found that to be the case. We can show it and demonstrate it, and your listeners can come to our website, which is pagetrader.com, P-A-G-E, trader, T-R-A-D-E-R, and check out and take a trial, John. And what we do with people under a trial is we just give them everything we put out, all of our work, and let them look at it for 2 weeks and make a decision for themselves if this is something that would be useful for them in their trading. We have people all over the world that use this information, professionals and home-based traders, that are finding more and more that the markets really do have a scientific side to them, and that with proper use of those forecasts, they can really make a difference in their personal investing in the markets. And that's what we're trying to do with everyone, is show them this goes far beyond horse betting or something like that. This is something you can really put to work on a very highly specific basis. And so that's our real claim to fame, is that we've taken the markets and we've risen above the gambling aspect of it and really taken it to a new level with very high specificity.
Right, and it's a science that you've developed over a number of years, and
Yes.
during kind of a free trial period, they're gonna learn a little bit about some of the specifics on how that works out. They'll get some trades. Hopefully, they'll be able to make some money if they execute the trades properly. But you also do seminar series there in Las Vegas, right?
We do. We have a seminar coming up in October at the Mirage Hotel, where we actually teach the very methods that we're using to produce these market moves and calls. People from all over the world come to these seminars because they've seen our work repeatedly and consistently to a degree much greater than Random would ever suggest, be able to very specifically say where markets are going to go. So we're very pleased, and we're very pleased also, John, to be on your program, to have other people, new people, learn about what is possible for them in the markets, and really take it to a new level for everyone. That's what we're hoping to achieve.
Folks, there's so many ways that you can participate. You can go to the webinars, you can go to the seminars, you can join the free trial service, and then hopefully become a subscriber. But either way, anyway, get all the information that you need for the next market movement advance with David Williams, Williams Edge, and PageTrader.com. Sign up right now at PageTrader.com. That's 888-231-4702, 888-231-4702, or again, go online at PageTrader.com. Thanks, David. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Great, John. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much. See you.
I'll see you. All right, everyone, good morning. Real nice to have you here with us. Each day we have the program with John Ransom where we get on with him and we talk a little bit about the markets, and then we go into our little webinar here for just a few minutes, and I can answer questions. I also have with me from PageTrader Jerry Fagnant, who is he himself is a 30-year veteran of the markets who trades in the crude oil market and the S&P primarily, but just extremely knowledgeable and has helped at this point, many of our Williams Edge customers to learn to utilize these forecasts to a much higher degree, so that they're not merely watching the move happen and maybe being out of the move or maybe only getting a couple of points out of a 15-point move, all these errors that can happen. Jerry, are you there with us today?
I'm here, David. Good afternoon.
Well, good. Great to have you on, and I wanted people to know, because we have new people that come from John Ransom that want to investigate what we're doing. It's difficult to believe if you're new, if you hear somebody saying that, the markets are not just a big gamble and that it isn't just something like horse racing or, something like that. But would you like to address that a little bit for anyone who might be new about the fact that we're really not dealing with something that is a straight-up gamble at this point anymore?
No, not at all. Couldn't be further from a straight-up gamble. For those listeners who might not be quite familiar with me, I go back as someone who first came to listen to David's forecasting ability about 8-9 years ago, really, and much like yourselves, listening to him on a radio show and hearing him do what he does, and followed for quite a while, and simply after really watching what could only be described as just David making incredibly accurate, timely forecasts, I simply joined up as a subscriber and have been using PageTrader and David's forecasting for the markets for my own personal gain ever since. And as someone with 30 years of experience managing other people's money, and I can attest to the fact that what David does is truly amazing, truly outstanding, and can really, in my 30 years, I've never seen it rivaled by anybody even attempting to do what David has done. So it's far from random, it's far from gambling. It's extremely precise and accurate work, and but it does take a little bit of a learning curve to discipline oneself, to wait for the setup that we discussed in the trade, to wait for that entry, and then to manage that trade accordingly, and the patience and the discipline. So there is a process to it, and that's I'm happy to say that I've been able to, since joining David with PageTrader, I've enjoyed great success with helping traders who perhaps you've been here in the past, couldn't make it work for you, and you're here again. I would encourage you to reach out to me and figure out how we can work together and help what we're doing here work for you.
Well, that's well said, and I want to also tell people that although Jerry just gave me an awful lot of compliments, we're really dealing with a methodology, actually 3 separate methodologies that I am simply applying the skill of applying those methodologies. That's what it is. It's like, here's the barn, here's the paint. That's the methodology, but now somebody has to paint the barn. Somebody has to apply the method. And so the skill that I'm demonstrating is not witchcraft or anything magical, although it sometimes looks magical the way, and many times it does, the way the market runs to their numbers, etc. But in reality, it's merely method being applied skillfully. And so because of that, because I know that's the truth, I always like to remind people that it means that anyone with the method can learn to apply it skillfully in the market and learn to perceive the cues that the market gives and so on, so that you can have a much, much higher probability of being correct. If you want to watch someone demonstrate it, you come to our site and you take a trial for a couple of weeks, and you'll get a chance to see the skill set demonstrated repeatedly, and maybe get as many as 20 different forecasts in a week of what the market's specifically going to do. And we go often long periods of time where all the forecasts ultimately run to their numbers and do it in the fashion that they were forecast to do it. Occasionally, like today, we had a forecast for the market to go down and test, right here where my cursor is. We had an earlier trade on the right. Let's start over here in the S&P. When the market opened, it was about 1950, a few minutes into it. And 3 minutes into it, and we had suggested that with the market at 1950, it should head down to 1944 to 43, and there's the decline to 1940. We got down to 1942.50. Then they bounced, and this is the bounce moved up to 1945 and change, and then with the market heading lower, which is now in the center chart here, with the market at about 1940, we indicated that the market would continue down into today's third hour and test 1936 to 35. On the way to the third hour, the market had a slightly larger than usual advance. They got all the way up to 1947.75 before turning down, and in the third hour completing the 1936, 1935. Today's low is 1936.50. So they did complete it, but these are just two examples of small intraday movements. The larger movements, the daily and so on, are all going to complete their own numbers and their own forecasts in their own time. The market's one whole thing that we can divide up into very small individual components, and we can trade those components very much the same way that a magnet is made up of thousands of little magnets. You know, one magnet has thousands of little magnets in it, and so in a way, you could break a magnet up and you could understand a lot about the magnet by going inside and studying the very individual magnets that are inside one larger magnet and so on. So a lot of different illustrations you could make. But either way, the real goal, and I've said this many times, and I just want to say this for anybody that might be new, you've been horribly fooled if you think the goal in trading is to make money, because that isn't the goal. The goal in trading is to be in the market when the probabilities are most in your favor. That's the goal. Making money is a side effect of that. If you think making money is the goal, then that is going to override and overrule, in many cases, even unconsciously, your understanding of where the high probabilities really are. If you can just get your mind off of money and you can keep your mind on the probabilities, and that's what our whole work is to show you what those probabilities, when they are, what the markets are going to do, and so on, then actually making money becomes a secondary goal, and it's very fine to make money. There's nothing wrong or evil with it. It's just that when your focus is only on that, you tend to mess up on the real area that your attention should be on, which what we believe is, which is the understanding of where the real probabilities are. And if you can do that, and we do that, that's our whole specialty, then you have a supremely better chance of trading in the markets and really making significant gains than you do if significant gains is all you're thinking about. So keep that in mind. I do want to take a couple of questions from any of you. If you have some, I'll go in the question box. There's a few here. Anything on the euro? Ray is asking. We are looking at the euro today, and we don't have anything immediately, but there is something for this week on the euro. So it may even be as early as tomorrow. I don't have it all worked out as yet. Hamilton is with us. Hey, Hamilton, I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. David, he says, thanks for creating the squares and for sharing the principles with me. You're very, very, very welcome, and that's true for everybody. People that come to our either Reflected Wave seminar or the Square seminar, these are people who are usually pretty serious about the markets, and they really want to put this kind of work to work in their own trading so that the probabilities really are, that's where they're focused on, and the making money becomes secondary. Charts are not being displayed here. You know, I don't know why that would be. I do have my, oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Here we are. So sorry. That was my mistake. I'll just point out this one more time. This was this morning. Thank you for pointing that out, everyone. I didn't see that until the end here. I'm new to this, so give me a minute. This was the morning over here with 1950 down to the 1943. This was the move that we expected in the S&P, and then later after this bounce over here on the right, after they started moving down again, that's where we felt the market was going to go down to 1936 into today's third hour. But we did have to suffer through a bounce that we felt was a little bit larger than usual. This is a volatile market, but still I thought that was a little more than they normally would do. And then they completed it in the third hour. They went down and touched the 1936 to 1935. This is incorrect right there. And today's low was 1936.50. So they completed that. There are some other indications for today in the S&P. You can take a trial of our product, or you can simply purchase. Very inexpensive. In fact, I would like to say there is no way to get better S&P information that I'm aware of for $199 a month. I mean, honestly, you know, that is, and to be honest with you, that's to get you to see what we're capable of doing with just something like the S&P, and to get you interested perhaps in trading more effectively in other markets as well, like gold and crude and the euro and so on. So our S&P is really designed to get people in to look at what we're doing, and some people stay at the S&P and they just want that, and that's fine. Others do want to trade and get as many opportunities as there are, as long as they qualify, like we've talked about, as being high probability things. Again, one last thing. If you can get that money out of your mind and really just think in terms of finding the very, very best trades, you won't be frustrated as much when you miss them, because you're not counting on money. You're not trading for a certain amount of money per day or per unit of time. You're simply finding the best opportunities. If you can get to that point psychologically, and anyone can, it's just how hooked are you into, you know, the whole money thing. We've all been told about it. We've all been told money is great, and, you know, we all look up to the Donald Trumps and so on. But in trading, we have to forget about money and really relax into just finding the probabilities. You will be so much happier with that psychologically than you are with chasing money. It's just, you know, I can't describe the difference for me as it is, but if you just practice with it and go the way that I'm telling you as best as you can, you'll find out it works much better that way. And money will be a happy side effect of your keeping your eye on the ball of probability. So there you are. Let me see if there's any other final questions. These are usually short little things that we get together here and just chat a little bit. I'd like to thank Jerry for coming on today. I know you're busy with your phone calls over there. I'd like to thank all of you for supporting us and continuing to support Page Trader and showing up at these little webinars and things that we do. And I'm looking forward to seeing you here tomorrow again with John Ransom. If you can stop by, do. And keep an eye on the messenger window. There still may be something left in today's session. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you here next time. Bye-bye.